they're applying. I mean, even just yesterday, I think some journalists got banned from Facebook.
Yeah, you aware of the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to send this to you, Jamie, because it's a really crazy one.
Because they wanted her to show who her funding sources were, and I didn't even know that there was an area where you could show that. So it's almost like they're making this up as they go along.
Yeah, Kyle Kalinske sent me this today. I'm going to send this to you right now, Jamie. Hang on one second. Hold on. I'm very quiet. Unfortunately, this is an audio show. But
this is live air.
Yes.
Not dead air.
There you go. Okay, buddy. I just sent it to you. Okay, Facebook suspended In the Now tweets page at the behest of CNN and the U.S. government-funded think tanks. It says we had almost 4 million subscribers, did not violate Facebook rules, were given no warning, and Facebook isn't responding to us. So yeah, what actually started this off?
I mean, who knows? They don't communicate with anyone. They've been banning legit accounts for years. You cannot even send a Minds.com link through Facebook Messenger right now. It's blocked.
What?
Yeah.
What?
If you post in the news feed, it says, "Careful, could be an unsecure website."
Oh.
I clicked on a link from TMZ yesterday and got the same thing on Twitter. Twitter said this might be malicious. There's spam. There could be
from Minds.
No, it's from a TMZ link. It was clicking this this story is on TMZ. Here, do you want to see the rest of the story?
So they're trying to keep you from going to TMZ.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's the first time I've ever seen that.
Huh.
It's probably caught up in some algorithm. I sent an actual written letter to Facebook about it. Obviously, they don't get back, and then there's no human.
A written letter? You wrote it with a piece of paper?
No, that would have been cool. I signed it with ink, but
really?
Well, yeah, no, because our lawyer said that actually proves that you sent them something, some sort of diligence, but there's just no recourse, and they're lost.
So explain. So if someone is trying to say on Facebook Messenger, hey, you should go check out minds.com, it won't let you post that link?
Nope.
And what is their excuse? They don't tell you?
No, they don't tell you.
So is it because you're a competing social media network?
I don't know. I don't want to get into I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not going to say that.
But you just know that it does?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know why it does, but you know it does.
And they're calling us unsecure, and I'm pretty sure that Facebook got hacked. They compromise everybody's data. Like, you want to talk about unsecure, there's no more unsecure site that exists.
It is kind of funny, right? I mean, after those hearings and after all the Russia stuff, yeah, it is kind of funny calling somebody else unsecure.
Yeah, they're insecure. Mark Zuckerberg is very insecure.
Well, he's also stupid rich. He seems like he's too rich, like he fucked up. Like he's there sipping water like a robot trying to figure out what the fuck he's doing with his life.
I think that they're scared because they know they've betrayed everybody, and so it's hard to get them to speak. It's interesting with Dorsey here because I give him credit for speaking, but the fact is that he's not answering the questions.
Well, he's bringing somebody else in to answer the questions in the next go-round, and so that should be very interesting.
And you think he actually didn't know the answer to those questions?
I think he probably doesn't know all the specifics because he's a CEO of not one but two different corporations. He's busy as shit and also rich as fuck.
True, but I think that when we look at the policy that exists on these networks, like he is in control of the policy to a large degree. There's a board, there's a decision-making process, but he has a large voice.
Okay, I don't know how large his voice is. I assume that's probably true, but one of the things we did detail on the last podcast with Tim Pool was how he wasn't the CEO for quite a long time.
He got fired and then rehired at some point.
Yeah, so obviously there's some contention, there's some issues, and it's a lot of money involved in these things, and I think that plays a giant part in how they decide to make decisions.
But do you think that an advertiser in reality doesn't, say you're an advertiser and you want to advertise your computer,
okay,
and there's a video on YouTube that is about something controversial, does it actually make sense for that advertiser to not show their product on that controversial video? Don't they want to sell computers?
Well, it depends. I mean, if the controversial videos are about how Jews are evil and you have this video about Jews being evil, and then,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, buy Razer computers. Come on. Da, 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 da.
Right. But do you think that people actually, I can understand not wanting to support certain types of content, and maybe advertisers feel like they're supporting that content by advertising next to it, but I also don't think that people, when they're watching a controversial video on the internet, say, oh my gosh, this advertiser is completely out of line for being next to this controversial thing. I don't think that's a healthy direction to move.
Well, okay, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is if you are a giant company that sells things, let's say you're Toyota and you're selling Tundras, you don't want your Tundras to be associated in any way with something that you might think is negative. It's their prerogative. If they're paying for advertising, they can kind of decide. This is one of the things that's leading YouTube in specific, and I've had a ton of conversations about this. It's leading them specifically to try to demonetize things that could be considered distasteful or insensitive or controversial, and it's very frustrating to content creators. Mm-hmm. When you talk to them, they're essentially saying that they need to do better and that their tools are very blunt, that they don't really have the correct computer learning tools to figure out what is offensive and why. And then there's a human review system, which is very weird. And we've run into that many times where we'll have a podcast with say Tom Papa, who's an uncontroversial, fantastic stand-up comedian, and it's demonetized. And then we're like, why? What happened? And then we go, what the fuck can we talk about? We didn't talk about anything crazy.
And it's really damaging for brands when it gets demonetized right away, because it's that initial time period that generates the most revenue.
Yeah.
So when you have to go back and do it, so I agree with that, but so we built a tool that's like a peer-to-peer advertising tool. So it's not, there's two options. You earn crypto for your contributions. And then
which cryptos do you support?
We have an Ethereum-based token, but we're going to support all of them eventually.
So what is an Ethereum-based token?
So it's an ERC20 token.
What does that mean?
It means that we basically reward people for all of their activities. So
say if Jamie's posted on Minds and people love his posts, he gets rewarded in some...
Yeah.
How much? How much you get?
Well,
can I go buy a
one
house?
token will give you 1,000 impressions.
Oh.
So we're not focused on you're going to make money from this.
Wait a
That's
minute,
not what we're saying.
One token will give you 1,000 impressions,
Yeah.
or you get 1,000 impressions from... You get a token from 1,000 impressions.
When you use a token to advertise on Minds, you get 1,000 impressions when you boost your post with it.
So wait a minute. If you use the crypto, you use a token, you guarantee views?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird, isn't it?
Why?
Well, you're guaranteeing people see something?
Well, when you boost it, it gets fed to people's newsfeed chronologically.
Right, I see.
So there's just a backlog.
So sort of like when Instagram has those sponsored posts.
Except we're not spying on people when we send them.
Instagram spies on people too?
Oh my, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm stupid. Help me out.
It's